Now, would you pay 3.3 million for this house? Now, before you answer, right, there's something else you should know. This house was completed almost 20 years ago. So why would someone pay 3.3 million for an older terrace home? Well, by the end of this video, right, I think you understand why, or more importantly, what people are really paying for here. Okay, so before you look at the house itself, right, I think it's important to understand where we are, because nobody will buy a home just because of the four walls, right? So they're buying into everything that surrounds it. My dear friends, this is Desa ParkCity. Okay, the first thing you'll probably notice is that how different is it compared to many other townships in Kuala Lumpur. The roads are all lined up with mature trees, walkways are very wide, sheltered, shaded, and almost everywhere that you look, right, it's very green. There's a lot of greenery here. It doesn't feel like a place designed for cars as well. It feels like a place that's designed for people to walk. I mean, it's one of the most walkable townships in Malaysia, that's for sure. You see many people going out for evening stroll, morning walk, children cycling, residents walking their dogs. There's also a very strong sense of security here, and also a lot of activity without feeling like overcrowded. And I think one of the main reasons why Desa ParkCity has become such a popular township among families is, the life here, right, living here naturally encourages you to spend more time outdoors and more time together with your family. Then of course, where I'm at right now is we have waterfront, where the social heart of the township itself. Cafes, restaurants, supermarkets, and everyday convenience is all here. Yeah. So over the last 2 decades, right, Desa ParkCity has evolved into a self-sustaining township, very self-sufficient, where all your daily needs can be available within the community itself. But here's something very interesting, even within Desa ParkCity, not every landed neighborhood, right, offers the same kind of lifestyle. So let's see how Adiva stands out. So completed back in 2006. So Adiva is one of the earlier landed neighborhoods in Desa ParkCity. Personally, for me, that's one of the biggest advantage. It's the location within the township itself. So even among all the landed developments here in Desa ParkCity, right, it's one of the closest to both the waterfront and also the central park itself. By the way, if you enjoy honest property reviews like this, right, do consider subscribing to my channel. And if you're a foreign buyer thinking about relocating to Malaysia or investing here, I've put together a foreign buyer guide that you can download using the link in the description below. Let's get back to the tour. Now, before we head inside the house, right, there's one thing worth pointing out. You may have already noticed that there is no individual gates in front of every home here. So if you're watching from overseas, right, and you're not familiar with the term landed strata, it's like owning your own landed home, but with security, maintenance, and also professional management that you normally associate with a premium condo. So instead of every house have their own gate, right, the entire neighborhood here, as you can see behind me, you see there's a guard cycling around. It's protected by what you call a perimeter security, guarded entrance, and very regular patrols. While the common landscaping, it's also professionally maintained. So while I was coming here to my client's unit, right, the guard also cycles and follow me as well and guide me and show me where's the parking and all. So today, this kind of concept is quite normal, yeah. But back in early 2000, it was quite a very progressive way of designing landed communities in Malaysia. So, for example, like developments like Sierra Mas, Adiva was one of the early generation of, gated strata landed community, together with Nadia and also Safa. So the good thing is that you do feel the emphasis on creating a neighborhood that will feel more open and also connected and more welcoming as well. Since we have talked about the township and why Adiva stands out, let's look at the thinking behind the design itself. So the question here is that has the house itself, right, really stood the test of time or not? So let's find out. So this is a 2-story corner courtyard terrace with just over 1,009 square feet of built-up space, 3 bedrooms, 3 bathroom. There is a utility room or a maid's room. So instead of just talking about the specs, I want to show you how this home actually feels like when you live in, the experience or not. So as I mentioned, this is the back courtyard. And over there, there's a parking space. You can actually park there and you can come in from there as well. So let's get inside. So now stepping inside, this is the living area. So I got to admit something is that when I first look at the floor plan, I would expect something much older than this lah. Yeah. So the standing here is, it held up surprisingly very well. Okay. So the living and dining area still connects very naturally. And the space feel open enough for everyday living without becoming like one large open area like this. Yeah, so if you have families, it's very natural to come together here, whether it's for dining, after work, celebrating birthdays, or simply spending time together at the end of the day. And one thing that surprises me, of course, this is the dry kitchen right in front. Okay, so you're looking at a floor plan, I would expect it to feel more enclosed. But in reality, the dry kitchen still connects very nicely with the dining area. So whoever is preparing breakfast or making coffee here, right, will not feel, separated from everyone else. Okay, and of course behind here, this is the wet kitchen. A proper wet kitchen, where you do your heavy cooking and all. And over here, this would be the maid's room or utility room with an ensuite bathroom as well behind. So for many Malaysian families, right, I actually think this kind of arrangement still works very well today. You get more openness when you want it, while keeping the more practical spaces of the home really neatly tucked away. The wet kitchen is tucked away and you don't get all the heavy cooking smell. Let's get upstairs. So upstairs, this is where it becomes more quieter and more private. And of course, even here in the hall, you actually have a window here as well to give it more natural light. And right in front of me, of course, this is the shared bathroom for bedroom number 1 and 2. So upstairs comes with 3 bedrooms. And what I like is that it's very flexible enough to grow together with your family, For example, some of the rooms, you can use it as a nursery room when your child is still baby. And then becomes your child's bedroom, then eventually a study or home office as your need changes. So this is your master bedroom. Okay, so one thing I noticed is also the mature greeneries outside the windows, you can see here. And something that you can't replicate overnight, So the trees also takes a very long time to grow and they give you a much more softer, more peaceful atmosphere as well. Yeah, so overall I think the home has actually aged much better than expected. Some of the finishes clearly reflect the era when it was built, But those are cosmetic changes and can always be modernized with the right idea and renovation. What matters the most is that the layout, the bones of the home itself is still very strong. And that's much more harder to replace than the finishes itself. So let's come back to the question that we started this video with. Would you pay 3.3 million for this house? Well, I think it really comes down to what you value most. So if you're looking for latest architecture, latest design, latest finishes, or you want to be as close as possible to KL city centre, right? Then honestly, there will be better options available. But Desa ParkCity also doesn't have like a direct MRT or LRT station within the township itself. So that's something that you have to consider if you regularly commute to KL city centre for work and stuff like that. But I also think that is what gives Desa ParkCity its own DNA and identity, So over the years, it has become a very self-sustaining township where many of your day-to-day needs, right, are already within the community itself, already. Schools, cafes, restaurants, groceries, that really encourage you to spend more time here, living in the neighborhood, rather than just simply passing by it. People doing maintenance here as well, see, trimming the trees and everything. So now if you're still exploring Desa ParkCity, right, I highly recommend you to watch my full tour of Park Regent next. It's one of the township's most premium freehold condo you can find. It will give you a completely different perspective on what it's like to live here, whether landed or condo. So just click on the video on the screen. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.